The morning my neighbor Karen discovered that commercial gym memberships had jumped to $200 per month, and personal training sessions were costing $150 per hour, while my home gym setup that she'd spent 8 months trying to eliminate was saving my family thousands annually in fitness costs. She realized that sometimes practical preparation beats aesthetic concerns when economic reality hits your monthly budget. But wait until you hear what happened when rising fitness costs exposed not just the failure of Karen's noise complaints, but also her scheme to profit from neighborhood wellness contracts, while blocking residents from developing affordable fitness solutions that could have saved families thousands during the health access crisis. What would you do if someone tried to stop you from maintaining your family's health without breaking your budget? Drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. I bet your area is dealing with rising fitness costs too. If you love seeing justice served when practical health solutions beat aesthetic obsession, hit that subscribe button for more stories where common sense wins over HOA tyranny. Picture this. It's a typical Saturday morning in Westfield Heights, Texas, and I'm setting up for my 6 a.m. home workout before the day gets too hot. The sound of weight plates clinking and my rowing machine's gentle hum fills the converted garage as I prepare for another day of helping my family and neighbors maintain fitness without paying the increasingly expensive commercial gym rates. I'm Marcus Johnson, 38 years old, and I work as a certified personal trainer and fitness instructor. My wife Jessica runs a small marketing business from home, and we have 2 kids, Tyler, 15, and Madison, 12. We're regular folks trying to stay healthy in Texas, where gym memberships have tripled in cost over the past 3 years, and personal training has become a luxury most families can't afford. The home gym in our converted garage isn't anything fancy, just essential equipment including a power rack, Olympic weights, cardio machines, and space for functional training. During Texas's brutal summers, this climate-controlled space allows us to maintain year-round fitness while saving roughly $300 monthly on gym memberships and personal training fees. This morning's workout showed exactly what I hoped to achieve: effective strength training and cardio in a controlled environment that costs a fraction of commercial facilities while providing the same health benefits. We were maintaining our family's fitness goals without the financial strain that expensive gym memberships create. That peaceful morning routine was shattered by the aggressive sound of heels clicking across our driveway and a voice that carried the particular authority of someone who'd clearly been building up to a confrontation for weeks. "Marcus," Karen Thompson called out as she marched toward my garage carrying a folder and wearing the kind of determined expression that meant someone was about to have their workout interrupted. "We need to discuss your noise pollution situation." Karen Thompson was 45 years old, a wellness consultant who'd moved to Texas from California 2 years ago. She drove a white BMW X3 that was always pristine, lived in the largest house in our neighborhood, and had somehow gotten herself elected HOA president despite understanding absolutely nothing about fitness accessibility or the economic challenges that rising health costs created for working families. "Morning, Karen," I replied, setting down my dumbbells and preparing for what I figured would be another complaint about something completely reasonable that she'd decided was problematic. "I've been getting complaints from neighbors," Karen announced, opening her folder with the satisfaction of someone who'd been collecting evidence. "Your commercial fitness operation is creating noise pollution that's affecting quality of life, and several residents are concerned about safety, hazards, and property value impacts." I looked at her for a moment, trying to process the phrase commercial operation being applied to basic home fitness during an era when gym memberships had become unaffordable for most families. We were living in a state where healthcare costs were skyrocketing, where preventive fitness was more important than ever, and where families were struggling to maintain wellness without breaking their budgets. "Karen, this is a home gym for family fitness. It helps us stay healthy without paying $200 monthly for commercial gym memberships. It's actually exactly what fitness professionals recommend for affordable family wellness." "That's the problem," Karen shot back, warming to her prepared argument. "When residents start installing commercial fitness equipment, it makes the neighborhood look like we're operating some kind of health crisis facility. This is a premium residential community, not a fitness compound." The conversation was already surreal. Karen was calling basic home fitness equipment commercial operations, and complaining that affordable health solutions made our neighborhood look like we were in crisis, while fitness costs were literally creating a health access crisis for working families. Besides, Karen continued, clearly building toward her main point, I've researched the regulations, and residential fitness operations require permits and safety inspections that you don't have. You're operating unauthorized equipment in violation of noise ordinances and liability codes. This was interesting. Karen was making claims about fitness regulations that I knew were wrong, because health and fitness accessibility were literally my profession. Texas has some of the most supportive home fitness laws in the country, specifically because of our emphasis on personal responsibility and health independence. Karen, home fitness equipment under commercial thresholds doesn't require special permits in Texas. The state actually encourages it through health incentives and wellness programs. Well, that's not what I was told, Karen replied, though her tone suggested less confidence than before. And regardless of permits, the HOA has standards about residential noise that your industrial equipment clearly violates. Did you speak with someone at the county health department who specifically handles home fitness, or did you talk to general staff who might not be familiar with wellness regulations? Karen's pause suggested she'd done exactly what I suspected, called random county offices, without talking to anyone who actually understood fitness policy or health accessibility issues. The main issue, she continued, avoiding my question about her research, is that your fitness operation creates unfair advantages that affect community wellness standards and neighborhood tranquility. When some residents start operating personal gyms, it puts pressure on others to compete or creates anxiety about health access that affects everyone's quality of life. This statement was so wrong it was almost educational. Home fitness actually improves community health by making wellness more accessible and affordable for families who can't afford commercial gym memberships. It's literally the opposite of what Karen was claiming. Karen, home fitness improves community health by making wellness accessible to families who can't afford $200 monthly gym memberships. It actually helps everyone's health outcomes while reducing financial stress. That sounds like fitness theory, Karen dismissed. But the practical reality is that your gym equipment makes neighbors feel like they need to compete for fitness access or worry about health disparities in residential areas. It creates anxiety about wellness availability that affects everyone's peace of mind. I realized that Karen's opposition wasn't based on regulations or community impact. It was based on her fundamental discomfort with visible reminders that healthcare wasn't universally accessible and that families might need to take responsibility for their own fitness during times when commercial wellness services were becoming unaffordable. Besides, Karen added, clearly preparing her closing argument, premium residential communities should rely on professional fitness facilities and commercial wellness services, not individual health preparations that make neighborhoods look like medical necessity zones. Karen had made her position clear. She opposed home fitness because it looked like preparation for health problems she didn't want to acknowledge. She wanted me to remove equipment that saved money and promoted family wellness because it reminded her that Texas was experiencing serious healthcare cost increases that affected fitness accessibility. I made a decision that would prove crucial in everything that followed. Karen, I understand your noise concerns, but I'm not removing fitness equipment that keeps my family healthy and saves us thousands annually. If you want to file HOA complaints or county reports, that's your choice, but I'm not eliminating practical health solutions for aesthetic reasons. Karen's expression shifted from confident authority to genuine irritation. Fine. But don't expect neighborhood support when your survival fitness installations start affecting everyone else's property values. And don't come asking for community help when your noise pollution creates problems for residential tranquility. She marched back toward her house with that stiff-backed walk that suggested I'd just made a serious enemy over what she considered selfish health hoarding. That evening, over dinner with Jessica and the kids, I explained Karen's visit and what it might mean for our family's relationship with the HOA. Dad, are we really running a gym? Tyler asked, having overheard enough of Karen's complaints to be concerned about our family's fitness activities. Jessica, who'd been tracking our household budget and knew exactly how much the home gym saved us monthly, answered with the practical certainty that had made me fall in love with her 16 years earlier. Tyler, Madison, your father's home gym saves our family about $300 every month on fitness costs. That's money we can use for things like your sports equipment and college savings. Instead of paying expensive commercial gyms for services we can provide ourselves. But Mrs. Thompson says we're making the neighborhood look bad, Madison added, having apparently heard Karen's aesthetic complaints during one of her property inspection walks. Mrs. Thompson moved here from California, where fitness costs are different and health access isn't as challenging, I explained. She doesn't understand that in Texas, home fitness isn't about looking bad. It's about practical health management and family financial responsibility. The conversation reminded me why I'd built the home gym in the first place. This wasn't about preparing for health emergencies. It was about practical family budgeting during a time when basic wellness services were becoming increasingly expensive for working families. Over the following weeks, Karen's campaign against my fitness equipment escalated with the systematic determination of someone who'd decided that eliminating visible health preparations was essential to maintaining community property values. She organized what she called residential wellness meetings at her house, where she presented research about property values, noise ordinances, and the psychological effects of health anxiety on neighborhood stability. I wasn't invited to these meetings, but several neighbors mentioned that Karen was building support for HOA restrictions on individual fitness equipment. She began distributing flyers throughout the neighborhood, explaining why home fitness was unnecessary and potentially harmful to community wellness standards. The flyers included selected quotes from municipal studies, carefully edited to support her argument that individual fitness equipment could actually increase health anxiety for other residents. Most concerning, Karen started contacting my kids' friends' parents, expressing concerns about the pressure that our fitness preparations might be creating for neighborhood children. She apparently believed that visible home fitness made kids unnecessarily worried about health access and family financial constraints. But Karen's most serious escalation came when she filed formal complaints with the county planning office and the state health department, claiming that our home gym violated multiple noise codes and wellness regulations. I received official notices requiring me to appear at county planning meetings to address complaints about unpermitted fitness operations and non-compliance with residential wellness standards. Karen had forced me to defend basic home fitness through official bureaucratic channels. The planning meeting was scheduled for a Thursday afternoon in the county government building. I took time off work to attend, bringing documentation showing that our home gym met all state fitness guidelines and actually supported community health goals. Karen arrived at the meeting with printed research and what appeared to be prepared statements about the dangers of residential fitness operations. She'd clearly invested significant time in building her case against home wellness equipment. The meeting was chaired by Tom Williams, the county health and wellness coordinator, who I knew professionally through my fitness instructor certification work. Tom had been dealing with Texas health accessibility issues for over 12 years, and he understood fitness economics better than most municipal officials. Mrs. Thompson, Tom began, you filed complaints about residential fitness equipment by your neighbor, Mr. Johnson. Can you explain your specific concerns about regulatory compliance? Karen launched into a detailed presentation about how individual fitness equipment could disrupt neighborhood tranquility, create liability hazards from improper use, and violate community standards for residential noise and property aesthetics. Her research was thorough, but it was based on fundamental misunderstandings about Texas fitness law and the difference between commercial gym operations and residential health equipment. She'd found legitimate concerns about improperly maintained fitness facilities, but she'd applied those concerns to home wellness practices that were specifically encouraged by state health policy. When Karen finished her presentation, Tom turned to me with the professional courtesy that one fitness professional extends to another. Marcus, you want to respond to these concerns? I presented my personal trainer credentials, home gym documentation, and data showing that our fitness equipment reduced healthcare costs while meeting all state wellness guidelines. The setup included safety protocols, maintenance schedules, and usage procedures that exceeded recommended standards for residential fitness operations. More importantly, I had documentation from the Texas Department of Health showing that home fitness equipment was explicitly encouraged under current wellness policies, and that our setup represented exactly the kind of individual health management that helped communities address rising medical costs. Tom, I concluded, Mrs. Thompson raises valid concerns about improperly maintained fitness equipment, but our home gym meets state wellness standards and actually supports community health goals rather than undermining residential regulations. Tom reviewed my documentation with the expertise of someone who dealt with health accessibility issues daily. Mrs. Thompson, he said finally, Mr. Johnson's home fitness equipment appears to meet state wellness guidelines and county safety requirements. Residential health equipment is explicitly encouraged under current health policy. Karen's face showed several emotions as she realized her regulatory challenge had failed. But what about community noise and property values? She pressed. What about the psychological impact of making neighbors feel like they're living in health crisis zones instead of peaceful residential neighborhoods? Ma'am, county regulations don't restrict fitness equipment based on aesthetic preferences. If Mr. Johnson's setup meets safety and wellness requirements, community appearance concerns are outside our regulatory authority. The meeting ended with Karen's complaints dismissed and my home fitness officially validated by County Health Review. But I knew this wouldn't be the end of Karen's campaign against what she saw as unnecessary health preparations. Over the following month, Karen's efforts intensified as Texas health costs continued rising and fitness accessibility became more challenging throughout our region. She organized what she called Phase 2 of her campaign to restore neighborhood tranquility and property standards. Karen began hosting weekly community wellness standards meetings at her house, where she presented increasingly sophisticated arguments against individual fitness equipment. These meetings featured detailed PowerPoint presentations showing property value studies from other communities, noise ordinance interpretations, and psychological research about how fitness anxiety could affect neighborhood mental health. Karen had clearly invested significant time researching ammunition for her anti-gym campaign. She distributed professional-looking flyers throughout Westfield Heights titled, "Protecting Our Community: The Hidden Costs of Residential Fitness Operations." These flyers included carefully selected statistics about home gym injuries, property insurance complications, and noise pollution studies from industrial areas that she'd somehow applied to residential fitness equipment. Karen's most concerning escalation involved contacting parents throughout the neighborhood to express worry about the competitive pressure that home gyms might create for children. She apparently believed that visible fitness equipment made kids feel inadequate if their families couldn't afford similar setups. "I'm just concerned about the message we're sending to our children," Karen told Jennifer Mills, Tyler's friend's mother, during one of these conversations. "When some families have these elaborate fitness operations and others don't, it creates class divisions that affect kids' self-esteem." But Karen's most systematic approach involved building alliances with commercial fitness businesses throughout the area. She contacted gym chains, personal training studios, and wellness centers, presenting herself as a community advocate, fighting against unfair competition from residential fitness operations. Several business owners, apparently convinced by Karen's presentation about home gyms undermining their commercial models, began supporting her campaign with professional testimony about the dangers of unsupervised exercise and the necessity of professional fitness guidance. Karen even organized what she called the Westfield Heights Professional Wellness Coalition, bringing together commercial fitness providers to develop talking points about why residential exercise equipment posed community health risks. The coalition produced official-looking documents claiming that home fitness violated liability standards, created insurance complications, and potentially endangered family safety without professional supervision. These documents were distributed throughout the neighborhood as expert analysis of residential fitness risks. Most troubling, Karen began conducting what she called wellness assessments of neighborhood properties, walking through Westfield Heights with a clipboard and camera, documenting every piece of visible exercise equipment while taking notes about noise levels and aesthetic impacts. She created detailed maps showing the location of every home gym, treadmill, and weight set in our community, presenting this data as evidence of fitness proliferation that was changing the character of our residential neighborhood. Karen's documentation efforts extended to monitoring my family's workout schedule, noting the times when we used equipment, and correlating these with alleged noise complaints from anonymous neighbors who somehow always seemed to call Karen rather than contacting us directly. She began filing weekly reports with the HOA board about ongoing fitness operation violations, creating an official paper trail that she clearly intended to use in future legal proceedings against our home gym. But Karen's most serious escalation came when she hired a private attorney specializing in neighborhood disputes to help her build a legal case against residential fitness equipment throughout Westfield Heights. The attorney, Michael Patterson from Patterson and Associates, specialized in HOA enforcement and property rights cases. Karen had clearly decided that defeating home fitness required professional legal expertise rather than just community pressure. Patterson began sending official letters to families with exercise equipment, claiming that residential fitness operations violated deed restrictions, noise ordinances, and community safety standards. His letters demanded immediate removal of fitness equipment, or legal action would follow. The letters included threatening language about property liens, HOA fines, and potential lawsuits that could force families to pay legal costs even if they ultimately prevailed in court. Patterson was using intimidation tactics to pressure neighbors into compliance. My family received one of these letters on a Tuesday morning, delivered by certified mail with language demanding removal of all exercise equipment within 30 days, or face immediate legal proceedings. Dear Mr. Johnson, the letter began, you are hereby notified that your residential fitness operation violates multiple community standards and poses ongoing liability risks to Westfield Heights residents. Immediate compliance is required to avoid legal action. The letter included detailed allegations about noise violations, safety hazards, and insurance complications that would supposedly result from our home gym. Patterson had clearly done extensive research into potential legal challenges to residential fitness. Most concerning, the letter threatened to involve Child Protective Services if we continued operating dangerous exercise equipment in proximity to our teenage children, claiming that unsupervised access to weights and machines posed child safety risks. This threat crossed a line that transformed Karen's aesthetic complaints into attacks on our family's parenting and children's safety. She was now using government agencies as weapons against families who chose home fitness over commercial gym memberships. When I consulted with Tom Rodriguez at the County Health Department about Patterson's legal threats, he expressed surprise at the aggressive tactics being used against residential fitness equipment. Marcus, Tom said, I've been dealing with Texas health policy for 12 years, and I've never seen legal challenges to home gym equipment that meets safety standards. Someone's really invested in stopping residential fitness in your neighborhood. Tom's observation made me realize that Karen's campaign had evolved far beyond simple noise complaints or aesthetic concerns. She was spending significant money on legal fees and professional consultation to eliminate home fitness throughout our community. The question was why someone would invest thousands of dollars in attorney fees to stop neighbors from exercising at home. Karen's motivation seemed disproportionate to the actual impact of residential fitness equipment. That's when I began investigating the financial connections behind Karen's anti-fitness campaign and discovered the wellness fraud scheme that explained her desperate opposition to anything that might give residents expertise in health and fitness economics. But what I didn't know was that Karen's campaign against home fitness was connected to a much more serious problem that would soon expose her real motivations for opposing individual health management. During this same period, I'd been noticing irregularities in neighborhood wellness contracts that didn't match normal service patterns. Several neighbors mentioned unusually high wellness consultation costs, and the community health program seemed inconsistent with actual services being provided. As a certified personal trainer, I had access to regional fitness databases that showed wellness costs throughout Texas communities. When I ran analysis on our neighborhood's health consultation expenses versus actual services provided, the numbers didn't add up. Our community was being charged for significantly more wellness consulting than municipal records showed we were receiving. Someone was inflating health service costs and pocketing the difference, a scheme that could only work if residents weren't developing their own fitness expertise or questioning professional wellness bills. The person running this wellness fraud needed neighbors who weren't monitoring health costs, who weren't developing fitness knowledge, and who weren't questioning unusually high consultation bills. Karen's campaign against home fitness wasn't just about noise concerns. It was about maintaining the conditions that allowed her wellness manipulation to continue undetected. That's when the fitness cost crisis hit with full force, and Karen's world started falling apart in ways she never saw coming. The economic crisis that struck the fitness industry created membership costs that exposed both Karen's wellness fraud and the critical importance of the home fitness system she'd been trying to eliminate. Commercial gym memberships jumped to $200 monthly for basic access, with personal training sessions reaching $150 per hour. Fitness facilities began implementing premium pricing for equipment access, group classes, and specialized training that had previously been included in standard memberships. For families with home fitness equipment, these cost increases were manageable. Our gym provided all essential training services without monthly fees, and our home setup offered the same health benefits as commercial facilities without the financial strain. But for families like Karen's, who'd relied entirely on commercial fitness services and professional wellness consultations, the cost increases created immediate crisis conditions. Karen's fitness bills skyrocketed to over $400 per month as she tried to maintain her previous training schedule through commercial services. Her wellness consultation costs jumped to levels that strained even her consultant income, while her health outcomes declined due to reduced training frequency. More importantly, the fitness crisis exposed Karen's wellness manipulation scheme when community auditors began investigating health service cost discrepancies throughout our region. State health investigators discovered that Karen had been inflating neighborhood wellness bills by reporting false consultation services to community health budgets and pocketing the difference through shell companies she controlled. The scheme had been generating nearly $85,000 annually in fraudulent billing throughout our community. The investigation revealed that Karen's opposition to home fitness wasn't about noise concerns or community standards. It was about preventing residents from developing health expertise and discovering her wellness fraud. When families develop fitness knowledge through home equipment, they noticed discrepancies between actual health needs and professional service billing. Karen's fraud could only continue if neighbors remained dependent on professional services and unaware of actual wellness costs. The first sign that Karen's world was collapsing came on a Tuesday morning when I found her standing at my front door at 6:30 a.m., looking genuinely panicked for the first time since I'd known her. "Marcus," she said, her voice lacking the confident authority I'd grown accustomed to hearing, "I need to ask you about something. My fitness costs. They're completely out of control." I looked at her standing there with papers in her hand, papers that I suspected were service bills she could no longer afford, and investigation notices she couldn't ignore. "What kind of problems are you seeing, Karen?" "My gym membership hit $267 last month, and personal training is costing me over $600 monthly," she said, her words coming quickly as if she was still processing the financial reality. "The fitness companies are threatening to cancel services if I don't pay, but I can't afford these amounts. I don't understand how health maintenance can cost this much." I could see the weight of multiple crises converging in her expression, the realization that her fitness bills were unaffordable, that her health was declining despite expensive professional services, and that the home gym equipment she'd opposed was the only thing keeping other families from facing similar disaster. "How much are you actually spending annually on fitness and wellness services?" I asked, though I suspected the answer would reveal the full scope of her problems. "I don't know," Karen replied. "I never tracked total health costs before. I just paid whatever the companies said I owed. But now, with the price increases and these massive bills, I can't keep up with payments." This was the moment when 8 months of opposing home fitness collided with the reality of Texas health economics and Karen's own wellness fraud being investigated by state authorities. "Karen," I said gently, "I think we need to look at your actual health needs versus what you're being charged, and figure out how to implement fitness solutions that can maintain your wellness without massive professional service costs." What we discovered during that review was a family crisis created by both fitness cost inflation and Karen's own fraudulent billing practices coming back to destroy her finances. Karen's wellness bills showed consultation services that were physically impossible to provide at the reported frequency, evidence of the billing manipulation that was now being investigated by state health fraud investigators. She'd been inflating her own bills along with everyone else's, but she'd also been spending the fraudulent proceeds on maintaining unsustainable fitness services that required massive professional costs. When fitness prices skyrocketed, Karen couldn't maintain her training schedule without professional services that cost thousands monthly. Her wellness consulting business was failing as clients discovered her fraudulent billing, while her personal health required expensive maintenance she could no longer afford. Most critically, Karen had no home fitness infrastructure to help manage health costs during the economic crisis that made professional wellness services unaffordable for most families. "I don't understand how this happened," Karen said, as we reviewed her billing and health data. "I was trying to maintain community standards and prevent noise pollution, but now I'm the one facing financial crisis from fitness costs." Karen, the home fitness systems you opposed weren't about noise pollution. They were about practical preparation for exactly the economic conditions we're facing now. Rising health costs aren't a crisis you can prevent through aesthetic standards. It's an economic challenge you manage through preparation and personal responsibility. Over the following weeks, as Karen's legal troubles intensified and her financial situation deteriorated, she began to understand the connections between health independence, financial planning, and community resilience during challenging economic conditions. The state wellness fraud investigation resulted in criminal charges against Karen for billing manipulation, restitution requirements exceeding $115,000, and immediate termination from her HOA position. Her wellness consulting license was suspended pending resolution of fraud charges. But, perhaps most importantly for our neighborhood, Karen's legal troubles led to comprehensive wellness billing audits that corrected fraudulent charges and reduced health service costs for every family in our community. The corrected billing, combined with fitness accessibility policies that encouraged home equipment, created financial incentives for residents to implement exactly the wellness systems that Karen had spent months opposing. 6 months after her arrest, Karen contacted me requesting help with installing home fitness equipment for her property. The financial necessity of health independence had overcome her aesthetic objections to visible fitness infrastructure. "Marcus," she said during our conversation about setting up fitness equipment at her house, "I want you to know that I was completely wrong about home fitness and its importance for family financial security. I didn't understand that health independence isn't about noise pollution. It's about practical preparation for predictable economic challenges." The installation of Karen's home gym became a neighborhood education opportunity, demonstrating how fitness equipment, wellness knowledge, and health monitoring could reduce medical costs while supporting community wellness goals. But perhaps the most meaningful change came when Karen began advocating for fitness accessibility education and community health independence throughout our region. "I learned through financial crisis and legal consequences," Karen would tell audiences of homeowners and HOA boards, "that opposing practical fitness solutions because they look like health crisis preparation can create actual crisis when economic challenges arrive. Home fitness isn't about fear. It's about responsible health management and family financial security." Today, our neighborhood has become a model for suburban fitness accessibility and health independence in Texas. Most homes have some form of exercise equipment, and the Community Association provides education about wellness techniques and financial benefits of health self-reliance. Karen Thompson serves as a volunteer coordinator for the Westfield Heights Health Independence Project, working with county health departments and state wellness agencies to help families implement fitness solutions and avoid the financial crisis she experienced. The transformation has been remarkable. From a community that opposed home fitness as unnecessary noise pollution to a neighborhood that's become a regional example of how suburban residents can achieve health security while reducing medical costs. But the long-term impact of Karen's fraud case and our neighborhood's transformation extended far beyond Westfield Heights. The investigation led to statewide policy changes regarding community health service, billing oversight, and residential fitness support. The Texas Health Commission used our case as the foundation for the Community Wellness Transparency Act, legislation that required independent auditing of neighborhood health service billing and created protection mechanisms for communities targeted by wellness fraud schemes. I was invited to testify before the Texas legislature during consideration of the Community Wellness Transparency Act, representing families who had discovered billing fraud through fitness monitoring and health self-reliance. Karen's fraud scheme succeeded for 2 years because residents weren't monitoring their actual health costs, I told the legislative committee. When families implement home fitness systems, they become naturally aware of wellness needs that make billing fraud detectable. Health independence isn't just about fitness accessibility. It's about financial protection for residential communities. The legislation passed with bipartisan support and became a model for similar laws in other health-challenged states throughout the South. Federal health agencies began promoting residential fitness education as essential infrastructure for both wellness, accessibility, and fraud prevention. Karen's transformation during this period became equally comprehensive. While serving her community service sentence for wellness fraud, she completed certification as a health independent specialist through the state wellness program. I have unique credibility when I talk to communities about the importance of health monitoring, Karen explained during one of her educational presentations. I can honestly say that I was wrong about home fitness being unnecessary, and I can show exactly how opposing practical health independence can create the conditions that allow fraud and financial crisis to develop. Her presentations included detailed case studies of our neighborhood's billing fraud, showing how fitness expertise had exposed the scheme and protected families from continued financial exploitation. The before and after financial analysis provided compelling evidence that health independence created economic benefits beyond simple medical cost savings. Karen also worked with law enforcement agencies throughout Texas to develop fraud prevention education programs, helping communities recognize billing irregularities and implement monitoring systems that could detect wellness fraud before it caused serious financial damage. 3 years after her conviction, Karen completed her community service requirements and began working as a paid consultant for health independence education programs throughout the South. Her personal experience with both fraud and financial crisis made her an effective advocate for practical wellness self-reliance. My billing fraud cost families in our community over $180,000 in false charges, Karen would tell audiences of municipal officials and community leaders. But the home fitness systems I opposed would have exposed my scheme within months if residents had been developing health expertise. Communities that implement fitness education protect themselves from both medical cost, inflation, and financial fraud. 5 years after the fitness crisis and fraud investigation, Westfield Heights hosted the first annual Texas Community Health Independence Conference, bringing together wellness professionals, fitness educators, and community advocates from throughout the state. The conference featured presentations on residential fitness technology, billing fraud prevention, and community resilience during health cost inflation. But the most powerful sessions came from families who had experienced both medical challenges and financial fraud, providing firsthand accounts of how fitness independence and health monitoring could protect communities from multiple threats. Tyler and Madison, now 20 and 17, participated in the conference as youth advocates for health education and financial literacy. Their presentation, titled Growing Up Fitness Independent: How Health Awareness Shapes Community Responsibility, addressed the educational benefits that children experience when families prioritize practical wellness management. Living through our neighborhood's fitness crisis and fraud taught us that health independence isn't about restriction or fear, Tyler told the conference audience. It's about understanding how wellness systems work so families can make informed decisions that protect both physical health and financial security. Madison added, when communities develop fitness expertise and understand their actual health costs, they become resistant to both medical inflation and economic exploitation. Health education creates informed citizens who can protect themselves and their neighbors from multiple threats. The conference concluded with the announcement of the Texas Community Health Resilience Institute, a joint project between the State Health Department, University of Texas Wellness Programs, and community fitness organizations. The institute would develop improved wellness technologies while documenting best practices for community-wide health independence and fraud prevention. I was appointed as the institute's founding fitness director, a position that allowed me to expand community wellness research beyond Texas to health-challenged regions throughout the southern United States. The Institute's first major project involved documenting community resilience during the Westfield Heights fitness crisis and fraud investigation, plus similar challenges in other residential areas that had experienced both health cost inflation and financial exploitation. The research confirmed that fitness education could improve community resilience by 75 to 90%, compared to areas that relied solely on professional wellness services without resident expertise. More importantly, the research demonstrated that communities with active home fitness programs showed significantly lower rates of health service fraud, medical cost, vulnerability, and economic instability during wellness crises. The Institute also developed standardized guidelines for residential fitness systems, making effective health independence more accessible to families without advanced wellness knowledge. The guidelines included detailed specifications for different climate regions, fitness technologies, and community coordination systems. But perhaps the most significant research finding involved the educational and community benefits of health awareness. Families with home fitness systems showed increased understanding of wellness principles, greater community engagement during challenges, and improved financial literacy regarding medical costs and health economics. Today, 12 years after Karen's fraud conviction and our fitness crisis, over 85% of Texas suburban communities have some form of resident-supported wellness program. Property values in health-independent neighborhoods significantly exceed values in areas that rely solely on professional services without resident involvement. The transformation has been so comprehensive that new residents moving to Texas communities routinely ask about fitness programs and health education opportunities during home purchasing decisions. Real estate agents now market community wellness infrastructure as premium features that provide both health benefits and financial protection. Tyler and Madison, now working as health consultants specializing in community fitness management, credit their experience with our neighborhood's crisis for shaping their professional dedication to wellness education and economic resilience. Growing up during fitness cost inflation and fraud taught us that health challenges and financial threats often occur simultaneously, Tyler explained during a recent interview about his work developing community wellness programs. Health independence education helps communities prepare for both medical and economic challenges rather than addressing them separately. Madison, who specializes in residential fitness technology and fraud prevention systems, added, "Our neighborhood's experience showed that practical health management and financial protection aren't separate concerns. They're integrated approaches to community resilience that protect families from multiple threats." Karen Thompson, now 57 and recognized as one of Texas's leading health independence educators, frequently speaks about the connections between wellness self-reliance, financial security, and community fraud prevention. "I learned through personal crisis and legal consequences that opposing practical fitness creates vulnerability to both health challenges and economic exploitation," she tells audiences of community leaders, municipal officials, and wellness advocates. Health independence education isn't about fear or restriction. It's about creating informed communities that can protect themselves from predictable threats. Her presentations always include the fundamental lesson that our neighborhood's crisis taught everyone involved. Health independence and financial monitoring aren't separate activities. They're complementary approaches to community security that protect families from both medical challenges and economic fraud that often target the same vulnerable populations. But the most profound impact has been on how Texas approaches community resilience education and health security planning. The Westfield Heights case study is now required curriculum in municipal management programs throughout the state, teaching future city planners and community leaders about the connections between health education, fraud prevention, and economic security. The Texas Department of Health has established the Community Health Independence Initiative, a $60 million program that provides funding and technical assistance for residential fitness programs, billing monitoring systems, and community education projects throughout the state. I've been serving as the initiative's technical advisor, helping communities implement wellness programs that provide both health benefits and economic protection from service fraud and medical cost inflation. The initiative has supported over 450 communities in developing integrated fitness and monitoring programs, with documented results showing average household savings of $275 monthly on health costs, plus protection from billing fraud schemes that had been targeting communities without active wellness monitoring. More importantly, communities participating in the initiative show significantly higher levels of civic engagement, community cooperation, and economic resilience during both health challenges and economic downturns. Jessica, who has been working as a financial consultant specializing in household health budgeting, credits our family's experience with fitness independence for shaping her understanding of how wellness awareness affects family financial security. Marcus's home gym didn't just save us money on fitness bills, she explains to families seeking financial counseling. It taught our entire family that health awareness and financial planning are connected skills that create economic security rather than separate concerns that compete for attention. Jessica's practice now specializes in helping families implement fitness solutions as part of comprehensive financial planning, showing clients how wellness investments provide both health benefits and economic protection that traditional financial instruments can't offer. The long-term economic data from our neighborhood supports Jessica's approach. Families who implemented home fitness before the cost crisis and fraud investigation showed 45% less financial stress during health emergencies, 65% lower medical costs during crisis periods, and significantly higher long-term savings rates compared to families who relied solely on traditional financial planning without health consideration. Tyler and Madison have taken their childhood experience with health education and applied it to their adult careers in ways that continue expanding the impact of wellness awareness throughout Texas and beyond. Tyler's wellness consulting firm specializes in helping communities develop fitness education and programs that integrate health independence with economic security and fraud prevention. His work has influenced wellness policy in 18 states and 2 countries. Our childhood experience with fitness, cost inflation, and fraud taught me that health challenges and economic threats often target the same vulnerable populations, Tyler says. Effective wellness education must address both health resilience and economic protection to create truly sustainable communities. Madison's technology company develops software systems that help communities monitor fitness costs and detect service billing irregularities before they become major fraud schemes. Her monitoring systems are now used by over 750 communities throughout the southern United States. The billing fraud that targeted our neighborhood succeeded because residents weren't monitoring their actual health costs, Madison explains. Technology can make wellness monitoring as simple as checking your bank account, giving families the information they need to protect themselves from both health challenges and economic fraud. The software Madison developed provides real-time cost analysis, billing verification, and fitness optimization that helps families reduce health expenses while detecting potential fraud before it creates serious financial damage. But perhaps the most meaningful validation of our family's approach to health independence came 8 years ago, when the Texas Governor's Office recognized Westfield Heights as the state's model community for integrated wellness resilience and economic protection. Governor Martinez visited our neighborhood during the recognition ceremony, touring fitness installations and meeting with families who had benefited from both health independence and fraud prevention programs. What happened in Westfield Heights represents the future of community resilience, Governor Martinez said during her visit. When residents understand wellness management and monitor their health costs, they create communities that are resistant to both medical challenges and economic exploitation. This is how Texas communities can thrive during uncertain times. The governor's recognition led to increased state funding for community wellness programs and federal attention to Texas's integrated approach to health independence and fraud prevention. Our neighborhood has hosted delegations from municipal leaders throughout the United States and internationally, with visitors studying how wellness education can create both health benefits and economic protection for residential communities. The most frequent question from visiting delegations involves the connection between fitness awareness and fraud prevention. Many communities struggle with service fraud, but hadn't considered how health education could provide protection from economic exploitation. Wellness expertise gives residents the information they need to verify service billing accuracy, I explained to visiting officials. When families understand their actual health needs, they become naturally resistant to billing fraud and other forms of service exploitation. The international attention has led to collaboration with communities in Canada, Australia, and other countries that face similar challenges with health cost inflation and service fraud targeting residential areas. Our neighborhood's transformation from opposing home fitness as unnecessary to becoming a global model for wellness resilience demonstrates that practical education and community cooperation can address multiple challenges simultaneously, rather than requiring separate solutions for health and economic threats. Today, when Jessica and I talk to young families about choosing homes and building financial security, we always emphasize the connections between health awareness, wellness independence, and economic protection. Home fitness saved our family thousands of dollars in medical costs, I tell them. But more importantly, it taught us that practical preparation and financial responsibility work together to create security that no single approach can provide. The home gym that Karen once called noise pollution has become valued community infrastructure that provides both health benefits and economic protection for families throughout Texas and beyond. Sometimes being prepared really isn't about fear or anxiety. It's just about understanding economic realities and taking practical steps that protect your family from predictable challenges. What fitness accessibility challenges is your family facing? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience could help other families understand how practical wellness solutions can provide both health benefits and economic protection. If this video opened your eyes to connections between health awareness and financial security, remember that fitness education benefits entire communities rather than just individual households. And if you love seeing justice served when practical preparation beats aesthetic obsession, hit that subscribe button for more stories where common sense and family responsibility create better outcomes than ignoring predictable challenges. Remember, sometimes standing up to neighborhood tyrants doesn't just save yourself, it protects everyone around you. When good people refuse to be intimidated by fake authority, entire communities can break free from both health vulnerability and economic exploitation. Thanks for watching HOA Revenge Stories, where we prove that every HOA Karen eventually meets their match.